Evening, everyone. My name is Amr Fahad, and I'm a representative of DMU, and I have my colleagues, academics, and colleagues from within the same team, welcoming everyone. And we have today the Brookfield Education and Training with us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll start by introducing Mr. David, the CEO of Brookfield, to give us a quick introduction and a welcome note. Over to you, David.
Okay, yes, thanks, Amir. Welcome everybody from wherever you are in the world. I'm David George. I'm the CEO of Brookfield Aviation International and Brookfield Education and Training. A lot of you might know of our company. For those that don't, we've been in business for about 30 years. Our principal business is managing the careers of aviation professionals, pilots, engineers, people in airline management, and so on, and finding them jobs in the industry. During this process and during the time that our students are undertaking their tuition at DMU, we are obviously always going to be on hand for any advice, support, and anything else that we can do for anybody. We do have an enormous amount of contacts in the industry, which I'm sure will be of great value to everybody post-graduation. And you know, we take great pride in the people that come through our system, whether they're students or senior professionals. We also, as you've probably seen from our brochure, do have a sort of range of benefits that are available free of charge to all of the students, and other things like discounted coaching and discounted medical insurance that we provide through our own schemes, which are available. So we're looking forward very much to welcoming anybody who's going to be signing up with us and DMU. I won't take too much of your time now because we've got a lot to get through, I'm quite sure, but I'll wish you all a good afternoon and hand you back to Amr. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Much appreciated. Again, I would like to welcome the new attendees, and just a gentle reminder, please, if you have any question or any concern, please use the chat box and we will manage this at the end after we finish our presentation. Now, I would like to welcome Martin Booth, the regional manager for the UK International, EU, and the ROSA. Martin, over to you.
Great, thank you very much, Emma. Yeah, I just wanted to maybe just welcome everyone, but also maybe I could just touch on a couple of aspects of the university and the city of Leicester where we're based. So obviously we're Montfort University, we're in Leicester, which is, just for anyone who doesn't know, we're about an hour and 5 minutes north of London by train. So we're quite close to the capital city. We're about 40 minutes from Birmingham and really very sort of centrally located in the UK and England. If Leicester as a city is known for any particular thing, and anyone who knows the city will know this very well, Leicester is a very international city. We really have people who are living here and communities who've been living in the city from all over the world for many, many years. But from a student aspect, as someone who's coming to study in the UK and live in the city, why is that sort of so important? Obviously, if you're coming from overseas, you want to be knowing that you're going somewhere, and your families will want to probably know that you're going to be somewhere where you're going to be very at home. Given that we have such a sort of a diverse community of international people living in the city, students and their families can really be very assured that you're going to be very at home here. It's almost going to be like a second home. So whether that be mixing with people from your own country, being able to buy foods and go to restaurants, enjoying things that you enjoy at home, or indeed sort of things like religious practices, those are here in the city in abundance, and they have been for many years. So I think that's really a key thing to consider, that not only is the institution hopefully going to be a very good solution for you, but you're going to be very at home in the city itself. whilst at the same time enjoying, obviously, what's also very British and enjoying all aspects of that. As an institution, we have students obviously from the UK, but we also have students from over 135 countries around the world. So not only are students going to be able to interact and build relationships with British people, but really very much so with people from around the world. And obviously, in terms of the subject area we're discussing today and aeronautics in general, it's obviously a very international subject. So the university is very good from that aspect also. In terms of the city, it was voted one of the top 3 affordable cities in the UK last year for students. So obviously that's very good because generally students coming to study are working on a budget. So that in terms of the UK, we're top 3, which means that you can have very good value accommodation. You can afford to, buy food and enjoy your life here in an affordable way compared to some of the other cities in the UK, and specifically some of the very larger cities, which can be very expensive for students as well. As an institution, we have, moving on from the subjects we're talking about today, we have around about 400 programs, and we're teaching across many different levels and 4 very large faculties. So students coming to study will also have the opportunity to, mix, interact with people studying all types of academic programs. The last thing I would say that we have a statistics in terms of employability at the university that I'm sure the academics will talk about a little bit more detail around their subject. But as an institution, we have a stat which is 97.3% of students within 6 months of finishing their program at the university have either gone into graduate type employment related to their subject area or have gone on to further educational studies. Now, 97.3% is actually well above the university average for the UK, and indeed is quite a bit higher than many of the most highly ranked universities. So in terms of students moving away from their homes to come study in the UK, obviously spending their money on tuition fees and costs of living in the UK, it's very important to take into account that, because you'll really be getting an excellent return on investment, in that that at the end of the program, you're very likely to have a very good outcome in terms of career opportunities and those things. So I think that's all I really want to say about the city and the institution, but maybe I could also briefly touch on the COVID situation for anyone who's not actually located in the UK at the moment. To date, I think just over 25 million people have had their first vaccine. Obviously, like the rest of the world, we're prioritizing the most urgent groups. I'm in my mid-50s, and I'm pleased to say I had my first vaccine last week. The general plan is that all the adult population who want to have the vaccine will have had their first vaccine by July this year. Anyone who looks at the news will see that the UK numbers are significantly down, whichever way you look at that, in terms of people in hospital, people contracting the virus, and we're really in a very, very good position. And I think the reason that is crucial is that obviously our next intake is September. We're already in a very good position, and I would say that we're very, very confident that the UK will be really a very, very safe place for students to come and live and study, arguably much safer than other places around the world. But also, I think it means that students can be confident that they'll be able to travel to the UK in a normal way, live in the city rather than just being isolated in their accommodation, but also be able to enjoy a normal student experience in terms of face-to-face teaching rather than online teaching. So I think that's crucial as well. So that's all from me. Just to reiterate what Hannah said at the beginning, that we'll be very happy to answer any questions that anyone has at the end, and I'd encourage you to put those into the chat box. Obviously, we can answer those from an international perspective in terms of student advice, but also we have academics here who can talk in detail and answer detailed questions about their programs. So thanks once again. That's all from me. Maybe I can pass back to Emma. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Martin. I'm going to share a presentation. It's a general presentation about the university, and I will go through a few points, but then we will focus on later on with our colleagues, the academic, about the air transport management and the aeronautical engineering. I'm assuming everyone can see my screen, so I'm just going to echo a few points Martin kindly mentioned at the beginning about the Montfort University. In terms of location, we're based in Leicester. And as you can see on the map, it's just over an hour from London. That's an hour and 10 minutes from central London to Leicester. So, and it's the campus itself is city center located. So it's 5 minutes walk away from the city center, about 12 to 15 minutes walk away from the train station. And again, that's another reassuring point for our international students that they don't need to use transportation. They can just walk or cycle to the campus. We have over 27,000 students from over 135 different countries, and this will show you the diversity that we have. The university, De Montfort, has been awarded the TEF Gold, and that's the Teaching Excellence Framework, and that's the government tool that they use to endorse the ranking for the university. A few pictures here just to show you the city. So that's the shopping mall that I've mentioned, 5 minutes walk away from the campus. We have the Space Center here for students who are interested in aeronautical engineering or in general in spaces and rockets. We have a lot of parks for students to go for walks, especially during the weekend for a break. It's rich in history, and as you can see, from King Richard III, and we have the Leicester City Football Club, again, for football fans. These are a few pictures here for the campus. So the top left picture is where the Vijay Patel building, the newest building we launched in 2016, and that's for the art, design, architecture programs. On the right-hand side, there's the Queen's building. This is where the computing, engineering, and media programs will take place. The lower picture to the left, that's where the business and law building is. And the lower to the right, this is where the health and life sciences programs will take place. Now, the business and law, we have a lot of programs to offer to our international students. And as Martin mentioned, and I would like to highlight that in each faculty, we have a placement team, and the colleagues there are more than happy to help you and support you in terms of if you're looking for volunteering work or for placement. They will guide you through the process, whether it's a CV or the cover letter or even the interview face-to-face or over the phone and the video during this pandemic. The highlight in this faculty that we have a Bloomberg system, and this is a system linked straight to Wall Street stock market. And this is where the student will learn how to do this practically, so they will have hands-on experience, and this will help them when they go to the practical work. Now, this is a picture here for one of our students with the academic in the Bloomberg room. The second faculty is the computing, engineering, and media, and it has a lot of courses. Again, it's really popular for our international students and European students. We have excellent industrial links, and we have actually guest speakers coming from the industry to deliver seminars or lectures sometimes to update our students about the recent in the market or if there's any threats, for example, as in cybersecurity and cyber technology programs. And this is a picture from the engineering faculty, building, the Queen's building. This is where, for example, the students will work on the Formula racing car in the mechanical engineering from across all levels, whether it's undergrad or postgrad or a PhD level. And again, this will show our international students the kind of experience and the work and the practical sessions that they will have when they join to Montfort. Another picture here for our students in the game production and programming, delivering their final project before they graduate from undergraduate course. Now, the third faculty, and again, just to remind everyone in terms of employability rate, as Martin kindly mentioned, it's over 97%, and that's above the average in the UK, which is 94%. And this, again, a lot of factors contributed to this percentage, which is the practical work the students will receive, the placement that we offer to our students, and the global DMU, which I'll mention shortly. We have a lot of programs here in the health and life sciences. The one that I would like to highlight is the pharmacy, because we've been running this course for over 100 years, and it's accredited by the GPHC, which is the General Pharmaceutical Council. We also offer nursing, and it's open for international students, limited seats, of course, but please do apply if you're interested. And we have a new course on the postgraduate level, which is the global health. And again, this will help students who actually are studying anything related to epidemiology or something related to health. apologies. That's a picture here for our student in the pharmacy. Apology, I'm just trying to admit all students. And the fourth faculty that I've mentioned is the art and design. This is where a student will take courses such as fashion, textile, arts, architecture, and we opened this new building in 2016. The university invested over £58 million to have state-of-the-art facility with all the equipment and the studios available for our students. Students, they have access to a lot of equipment, and they even have access to the academic in case they need. Yeah. If I can remind everyone, can you please mute yourself? And if you have any question, please use the chat box. This is a picture here for the Vijay Patel building from the inside as well. This is where the English Language Center reception. This is for the food village. This is where our students can enjoy a very competitive and affordable price of meals. And we have a lot of kitchens here. So we have the Italian, we have the British, we have even the halal section for students from different backgrounds just to accommodate. We have also the vegetarian option. And again, there's always an alternative if the students is interested to go to the city center, which is 5 minutes walk away. As I mentioned, we have a lot of courses. They are accredited by professional bodies outside. We have over 170 courses actually. And we have, for example, like the GPHC, which I mentioned about the Pharmaceutical Council and the Royal Institute of British Architecture and the CIMA and the IET for the engineering. And we have a lot of partnerships outside, as you can say, such as United Nations, the HP, all of our international companies. Another industrial partners that we work with, and we send students there. The placement team that I've mentioned at the beginning, please do get in touch with them in each faculty. They will help you and they will guide you if you're planning to do some volunteer work or find a placement or a job, hopefully, afterwards. Now, the DMU Global, that's a unique initiative for the university. This is where students get to travel overseas, where the university will pay for some of this trip, and the students will pay for the remaining part, and they will get to go according to their program to different places. From the picture, I can tell you this is one of the most common trips that we run every year to New York in January. And we have students, for example, from the mechanical engineering that went to the Grand Central Station in New York just to see what exactly they have there in terms of protocol and standard procedure they use compared to the one in London. We have students from the media program. They went to the NBC studios. And again, that's the kind of experience the students will need to add onto their CV. And the highlight, I would say, it's the business and law students. Few of them managed to go to the United Nations, and a couple of students actually delivered a speech there in United Nations. And again, not to repeat myself, but it's the thing that the student will need to add on their CV so they can stand out when they apply for jobs or placement. This will give them the benefits. Now, the part is where we get to talk about two things. First of all, for international students who need to submit an IELTS, if you don't have an IELTS, we can offer our own English test. It's called DATE. It stands for the Montfort Academic Test of English. It's free of charge. So please do get in touch with Brookfield team. They will guide you through the process, and we'll be more than happy to book this for you. For the scholarships, we have a few scholarships available for our international students. So for example, the first one is the international scholarship, and it's limited availability, which means it's on a first come, first served basis. So if the student paid the tuition fees as a deposit, £4,000, they can request, and if we have availability, we can grant this. And also if the student paid the deposit, the £4,000 that I've just mentioned before the deadline in the summer, then we can add an extra 500. So in total, it will be £2,000. Please note that you cannot combine two scholarships at the same time. We have other scholarships for the postgraduate level, such as the Global MBA for the Global MBA program, and this depends on the academic background and the grades that you have achieved. We have 4 of them, each of the value of 2,500. We have also the Equality, Diversity, Inclusion, and the Sustainability, also for the postgraduate TOET program. And again, the students will need to submit a cover letter just to highlight why we should consider them for this scholarship. Then this cover letter will go to a committee, and the panel will announce the winners at the end of the deadline, which is in the summer. and it's up to £4,000. And we have also sports scholarship, highly competitive. Again, the student will need to apply, and an announcement will be made for the winner. That's me for the presentation. So I thank everyone for listening. And again, if you have any questions, please just type it in the chat box, and I will be more than happy to read this out and help you answer any related questions. Now, I can introduce our academics from the Air Transport Management, Lucy and Steve. Would you be able to? Yep, thank you very much for sharing the screen. The floor is all yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to speak to you about our Air Transport Management MSc programme. It's a programme we are very passionate about. It's a programme that we have developed over a number of years, and together with my colleague, we're looking forward to speaking to you about it. My name is Lucy Budd. I'm Professor of Air Transport Management in the Faculty of Business and Law, and I'm also the programme leader for this particular master's programme. A little bit about what the subject is, first and foremost. We're based in a business school, so it will be no surprise to you to know that we are looking at the whole range of business processes and functions that enable commercial aviation to occur. So this is everything from operations through to marketing, through to economics, through to finance, through to business strategy. And of course, the sector is incredibly complex and it's incredibly dynamic, and no more so than at the moment. Of course, we are only too aware of the challenges that the sector is facing. But what we would say is that as the sector looks to recover from the pandemic, the need for skilled managers is arguably more important now than ever. We know that regrettably an awful lot of people are no longer in employment in the sector, but this means that as the sector grows, there is going to be growing opportunity for people to move into these higher level management and executive roles. So a little bit about why we think studying air transport management at DMU is a good idea is that not only does it enable you to develop your understanding, your skills, your knowledge of the structure and the operation of the global air transport sector, it also enables you to be exposed to a range of very experienced and dedicated academics, but also as well specialist industry contributors. So the programme is taught not only by the pair of us, and you'll hear from my colleague Professor Stephen Eisen in a moment, but we also have guest lecturers who have worked in the sector for many years, in some cases are very, very senior in their roles, and they also come in to provide the real world industry input to the programme. The course fees, as we'll mention in a few slides' time, we feel are very competitive. And one of the unique selling points of our programme is that Professor Stephen Eisen and I have actually edited the dedicated textbook that is used not only on our programme, but also, as we understand it, other programmes around the world too. And we're very pleased to provide all of the students who enrol on our programme with a free copy of this core text, which is used to structure your studies. So a little bit about us, that's what we look like. Photo taken over a year ago now, before the COVID restrictions came in place, but I hope we've not aged too much over the intervening 14 months or so. We've been researching and publishing in air transport for many years, and we've got an extensive publication record, which feeds into our teaching, and Steve is going to talk you through that in a moment's time. We also have a long experience of delivering air transport management programs, both at master's level and at undergraduate level. And at De Montfort, we're delighted to offer this program at master's level. As well as our academic roles, we are both also members of the UK government's expert panel for aviation strategy. And in addition to that, we're also members of the UK's Independent Committee for Civil Aircraft Noise. And of course, all of this engagement with industry and also with government and policymakers feeds very much into our teaching. So that adds a richness and a diversity to our offer. Steve.
Hi there, I'm Steve Eisen. I'm Professor of Air Transport Policy, and there's a lot of information for you, isn't there? We've given you quite a bit already. It's difficult when deciding which university to go to, which city, what course. But one thing I think you need to think about is who's going to be teaching you, because you're going to spend an awful lot of time with those individuals. They will become very important to you. And myself and Lucy are an integral part of the teaching team for air transport management at De Montfort. One of the things you need to think about is, have they got an academic standing in the subject? Do they know what they're talking about? Are they research active? Have they published anything in that particular space? Are they well networked? Well, I think the answer to all of those questions is yes, yes, and yes. There's a photograph of various publications that we've been involved in. The book on low cost, the economic transport text, sustainable aviation futures, the geography text, an economics textbook there. And we have together published in the region of 20 academic textbooks in the space that you are looking to study. We're also editors of a journal, which I set up about 12 years ago now. It's the Journal of Research in Transportation Business and Management. You can see a very blurred image of it down the bottom there. Lucy is also one of the editors of that, and that publishes quite a lot of aviation-specific academic materials. So we've published quite heavily, over 180 journal papers. We have our own journal that's we're involved in, and we have academic textbooks. We're on editorial boards. We've published as well as supervised, published with and as well as supervised PhD students to completion, research income, and so on and so forth. So when you're thinking about a place, you need, as Lucy said, you need to think about the interaction, the link between the research and the teaching, and how that research feeds through to the quality of your teaching. She also mentioned the textbook, and there we are. It's now in its 2nd edition. It's edited by us. It's got a number of contributors, 20 in total from across the world, and it covers all of the aspects that you will be looking at as part of the Air Transport Management degree program.
So in terms of the structure and the content of the programme, the Master's programme is delivered as a full-time programme. So you will start at the very end of September, beginning of October, and the programme lasts for a full 12 months. And as part of the programme, you will need to undertake and pass a number of core modules, which cover all of the founding principles, practices and operations, which will bring you up to master's level. So Steve teaches the economics. I deliver content to the airline marketing and operations, the airport planning and operations modules, and we have specialist experts coming in to currently deliver the modules on airport management. The professor who teaches that is a leading expert in the area, and we also have industry professionals teaching part of the airport planning and also some of the airline business strategy. But as well as the core modules, you also currently have the option to select one elective module. And at the moment, the choice is one of 3. We do keep these under review, so this list is just indicative at the moment. It might change in the future, but for the present year students, they've had to select one module from that choice of 3. And they also have to decide whether or not to undertake an academic dissertation or a business research project. And in both cases, students actually undertake a fairly extensive piece of individual research into an aspect of air transport operations, which is of particular interest to them in the case of the dissertation, or meets a particular business need in the case of the research project. But as well as the academic content, we also include what are known as 2 enhancement weeks. There is one per semester. So semester 1 runs from the start of the academic year through to the end of January, and semester 2 starts typically mid-late February and runs through to late May, early June. But in the middle of those semesters, we have an enhancement week. And this year in semester 1, the focus was very much on employment, post-graduation and CV writing. So we had representatives from the sector based at Doha International Airport, a representative from Emirates IAG Cargo, various different airports, NATS, the UK's national air navigation service provider, Qatar Airways, providing insight, tips to actually help people secure that interview and get that job after graduation. And in semester 2, and this happened a couple of weeks ago, we invited senior industry professionals in to talk to our students, and the focus was explaining how COVID and the pandemic has impacted on their operations and how they've reacted to it. So again, we had a vice president from Airports Council International in Washington, DC speaking. We had senior managers from Birmingham Airport, the managing director of East Midlands Airport, representatives from Eurocontrol, Royal Schiphol Group, an interesting presentation from the commercial business jet market, as well as the senior representative from the UK Civil Aviation Authority. And we just feel that that really adds an extra flavour to what we offer. In terms of entry requirements and fees, and we're happy to pick up on this in the chat, but essentially if you are interested in and have a commitment to aviation, we would be keen to hear from you. So historically, we've had students who've been pilots, who have done engineering backgrounds, who've done social sciences, humanities, arts, foreign languages at first degree level. We've also welcomed students who don't have a formal education background, but have many years professional experience. And we consider that very much on an individual basis. So do take time working through your CV and your supporting statement to really explain to us why it is you want to study this programme. My colleagues from the international office can speak a little more about the English language requirements in the chat or the questions if we need to, and data about the current fees, which we feel are very competitive, are there at the bottom. They're also, of course, available on the website. In terms of what people do when they graduate, a whole range of potential options, everything from the obvious to areas of the sector perhaps that you might not think of. And every year we've also had students actually stay on to conduct further academic research in the form of a PhD. So one of last year's graduates has stayed with us, and he is now in the first year of his PhD. But of course, being truly global, people go all over the world, and we're very pleased that we have an extensive network of alumni who we stay in touch with. If you'd like to find out more, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You can get in touch through colleagues at Brookfield, through the international office, or with us directly. There are our email addresses, and we'll endeavour to respond to you as soon as we're able. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you very much, Steve. That's a really, really amazing presentation. I personally, if I can join, I will apply for this course. So thank you for the detailed information. If I can welcome Danny from the Aeronautical Engineering, if you can share the presentation as well. And the floor is all yours.
Thank you.
No problem.
Right. My name is Danny Harmanto. I'm the Associate Professor in Aeronautical Engineering and also the Program Leader on the MSc Aeronautical Engineering. And this one is slightly different. We're talking a lot in the engineering part of it. So why do we actually want to choose and or study engineering at DMU? So I just list it all. So most of our graduate undergraduate and also postgraduate is almost 100%. They actually have work after they graduate, and also they carry on to get our master degree and also a PhD as well. And all of our UG and PG undergraduate postgraduate course are accredited either by MEng or IET. And it depends which you're looking at. But for aeronautical, it will become under Royal Aeronautical instead. Now, we also use the industry standard. So I came to show you some of the video that we have and also some pictures in every tool. So make sure that you actually still have an update of the facilities mimic what the industry actually has. So you will have similar experience and also the same software as well. Now, our relationship is majority in the world leading organization. So for example, like MTC, Caterpillar, Rolls-Royce as well. And also majority of our undergraduates secures jobs, for example, in the UK, like a BMW, Cummins, Siemens, and also at Rolls-Royce. And also there is a Boeing and also the Airbus as well. So, but some still, you know, the same as the other program, they actually carry on to do our master degree and a PhD. It depends which path they actually would like to take. And this is some of the programs that we offer, that we only concentrate on the UG Aeronautical and Aeronautical. So we have a lot, and Amar already presented you all with this. So I'm going to go straight into the Aeronautical. So there are two things that we actually offer at this moment. And people think that the MEng is a master, but it isn't a real master, but because it's called integrated master degree, which is separate from the MSc. Now, the BEng, I'm going to tell you in a few minutes on how we actually work, but we already have the accreditation in another program with the IMEC and also the IET. Now, for this aeronautical, we're going to add on the top of that one is the Royal Society of Aeronautical, or RES, which is the proper professional body for us to go. So this is some of the labs that we actually teach you. So now we're going to split them off first to understand between the BEngs, MEngs, and also the MSc, for a student not to get confused when they apply. And then hopefully you don't actually say, oh, I should choose the other one rather than the other one. So if you look at year 1 to year 3, that is what we call the BEng. Yes, so that is the BEng Aeronautical Engineering. On that year 3, you have the opportunity whether you want to go to carry on with the same program. Is called the Master Engineering of Aeronautical. That is one package. So you carry on with it. So that means on this one, for example, in the individual project, you will not going to do that because you need to carry on into the year 4 to have a group project. So we change slightly on that. Now, if you, for example, on year 3, you want to stop, for example, you don't want to carry on to MEng, you also allowed to do that. You actually can get out as a called exit award of the BEng. Okay, so if you want to apply, make sure that you actually understand which one you want to apply. MEng is the whole 4 years. But also we will consider you whether you are eligible for the MEng on the year 3. Now, the opportunity for the undergraduate is on year 2, we will actually support you to get a placement in the industry for 1 year. If you take the MEng, that means it will take you about 5 years. If you take the BEng, then it will take 4 years. So, but on the year 2 here, we will actually encourage students to actually go and get the placement. We will help you to find the placement, but you're the one who actually going to apply. We can't apply for you, but we will support you, for example, like the CV, the interview, and what is the company actually looking for. So we prepare you. So we will give you support to actually to get the work placement for you. But we can't actually, do it for you, but you have to do it yourself. So if you look in this one, so we actually have a first year is a normal, we call it engineering, but we actually have adding on this one is the aircraft design and a principle on this, and also the mechanic of flight. And then on year 2 is getting a more deep on it. So you got aircraft structure, fundamental of aerodynamics. And then from that, we actually go into, for example, computational aerodynamics. That means you have to use software to look at the flow of, for example, the wing or the fuselage or aileron and so on. Okay, so that is, you have to decide which one you want to go. Now, if you actually want to apply for the master degree, not integrated master, then we also have what we call the MSc Aeronautical Engineering. That will take 1 year non-stop. So you start it in September, then you will finish in September as well. So you actually do some of this, and this is been unmanned aero vehicle design has been commended by the external examiner, because we are offering a very unique opportunity to actually understand the trend of designing the unmanned aero vehicle, which is now you have a lot, especially on the military aspect of it. So we can expand it into the civil one. And then on that one, you can actually choose from the 3 optional, either you want to do system operation management, topic in aircraft maintenance or repair, or also the materials. Then on the semester 2, we will actually have a number of guest speaker. We have actually from Rolls-Royce, from the Boeing, and also from the Airbus. And next one, we will actually ask somebody from Southeast Asia about the MRO. So then they actually can talk the different system that they use and also how they actually link using the international standard of ICAO. And then you do 1 year of one semester of dissertation. So that is the master. So it's slightly different with the MEng or the BEng. Okay. So I'm going to show you, this one is just a very quick, I'm not going to show this video, you can actually, but I would like to show you the video, the next one. I want to save the time. So if I can actually click on this one, there we go. So all of on the CEM, we actually, on the engineering department, we actually active researcher. I've become a keynote speaker on number of conference in a number of countries, not in the UK, but in other country with its actually international profile. And then we also done a lot of research, published paper, and we actually have a teaching is informed by research. So we actually give the research back as our part of teaching. So then students get the updated version of the knowledge throughout the year. And then, oops, sorry. So this is the one. So that is one of our part that students actually can use and book for their research or also for the module. And also we have a wind tunnel, although it's a 1/18 scale, but it's actually provide accurate data for you to analyze, for example, the wing of aerodynamics of an airplane. And also we have the workshop with its standard in the industry, has to be clean, tidy, and confirming the health and safety for the engineering bit is very important. So this is some of the facilities from the panoramic view, so you can see. And now for the aeronautical, you can also involve on the DMU racing. We also have a DMU faster, which is the electric single-seater car and electronic club. And also we got a new one, which is called the Flyer DMU, which is actually creating a drone, autonomous drone that have to drop some of weight into some target. And we actually has been commended also by the MEng, who is the organizer. It is quite good and also push our student confidence of doing that, because you apply the theory into the practical on how you design the UAV and also how you calculate the target at a certain speed. So, like I said to you, we all in the School of Engineering and Sustainable Development. We do teaching excellent informed by research excellent. We do a lot of research as well, and we will actually try to get students to get involved with our research, for example, on dissertation, an example, and so on. And we also are guided by the Industrial Liaison Committee, with its meeting every month to make sure that we have an up-to-date curriculum that required by the industry. So at the mechanical, aeronautical, electronic, and so on. I think that will be it. And thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Danny, and thank you everyone for attending. I have a few questions from students, and I will read them out so the academics can help. So Mohsin asked, he said, "Hi, I am from Pakistan and I have done my electronic engineering. and I have completed my EASA B1 license. Is there any program for me, and I want to work in the aviation sector?
To me, can
Danny
I?
or Lucy,
Okay.
whoever is happy to pick up.
Okay, so if you have that license, I think I assume that license will be the, I hope if I'm not wrongly, that is the license for the aeronautical. Now you can actually apply for, if you have electronic background, you can apply for the aeronautical MSc if you have degree, but you have to look at your degree of what module you actually study on that. Otherwise, you can actually also, or we can offer you the MSc in electronic. So we have a number of opportunity for you to actually join with us. I hope that will answer the questions.
Oh, thank you very much, Danny. I think it's really covered, but if Mohsen, if you still have any more follow-up comments or questions, please do send them. I have another question for an attendee. He asked any suggestion for a pilot between jobs. So I think this one might be for Lucy and Steve, if I'm not mistaken.
I assume that question is referring to the fact that you're a pilot and you are currently furloughed or out of a job and would like to get back into that ultimately. Very interestingly, we have a pilot with us at the minute who is studying for his MSc. He's enjoying it very much. He's a very valued member of the group. We're enjoying having him with us. And he was a pilot. Whether he'll go back to that afterwards, we don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. But yes, this is the sort of course that fits that very well, if that was the question.
Fantastic, Steve. Thank you so much. I have another question from Javish. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. He said, I'm currently based in India. I'm interested in pursuing a master's course, MSc or MBA, in air transport management. And he's asking a distance learning course, which I can do along with my job, but with a few weeks of contact class in the UK. Any options? To the best of my knowledge, the course is full-time. Please correct me, Steve or Lucy, if I'm mistaken. But if you have any alternative options for them, please, can you elaborate?
Yes, you're very right in saying that, Amar. The course is full-time. Interestingly, as with the pilot, we have a number of students who are studying with us from India. And given the pandemic and the lockdown, they have stayed, a number of them, in India and have been doing it online. A number of them have relocated themselves to the UK, and hopefully at some point we'll see them. But at the minute we haven't. It's a full-time course. There are courses, distance learning. This isn't one of those. We always think it's very important that you meet with colleagues and peers and academic staff. And so we've always sort of shied away from doing a distance learning program for this type of degree. But I don't know whether Lucy wants to add to that.
I think the cohort experience is very important because it's not only about the skills that you are learning as part of the program, but it's also as well about the social networks that you engage with. So actually having those personal interactions, I think, is a very valuable component. And for that and other reasons, it is the full-time and we hope campus provision for this program.
Thank you very much, Steve, Lucy. And yeah, I completely agree. The educational journey experience will add a lot to your personality and to your CV, of course. Follow up, Lucy and Steve, there's another student, Asif. He asked, he's interested in MSc Air Transport Management, and he's asking, is there a job guarantee after finishing the program, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, there are no guarantees in any situation. We hope the market will pick up. We expect the market to pick up, and therefore we expect there to be jobs available. But there is no guarantee. The university doesn't guarantee to find you a job at the end of your program. But we hope that what you get from the program is to put you in a very, very good position to apply for jobs in the sector and to stand a good chance of obtaining those jobs.
Fantastic, Steve. And I again completely agree. It's the same question as I cannot ask you if I send my CV to you, can you guarantee me a job overseas? Again, it depends on myself and approaching the job or presenting myself. Thank you very much, Steve. I have another student, and I can pick up this question. Ibrahim, he said that he's been flying as an airline pilot since 2018, and he's interested in the program. And I think Steve and Lucy covered this part. Unfortunately, you cannot do it as a distance learning. It will be full time, so you will need to be in the UK. Regarding any dependent as such, your wife, so yes, you can apply. Of course, I'm more than happy to answer this, and the guys at Brookfield, they're more than happy to support you in terms of the visa. You will need to show in your bank statement so you can support your wife. That's the maintenance. And of course, during the application, you will need to pay the NHS surcharge and everything, so she can apply for the dependent visa. I hope I covered this.
I could have just add a point to that, and that's to say that I'm supervising at distance a Turkish PhD student that was from my previous institution, and he's here with his wife. So if you send me your details, I could put you in touch with my PhD student, who would be able to give you some advice.
Oh, actually, he is a PhD student. So, yeah, sorry, he is a student from Turkey. So, yeah, thanks very much, Steve. Yeah, Ibrahim, if you can send your details, and I can pass them on to Steve, and hopefully he will be able to help. I have another question for Steve. That's a following up question. Which course is likely to enhance my employment prospects the most for me as a pilot used to work for airline on B737?
Lucy, do you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, I think it really depends on where you want to go with your career.
Yeah.
The conversations that I've had with the airlines particularly value managerial experience in their pilots. So as one training captain and also another senior manager in an airline explained to me, they said, of course, pilots are very, very good at flying aircraft, but increasingly now we need professionals who can not only fly an aircraft, but also, as he termed it, fly a desk. So had an appreciation of the economic, the regulatory environment in which aviation operates, and was able to see the bigger picture, beyond, flying your aircraft from your origin to your destination airport in accordance with strict safety and security protocols. Of course, that's important, but actually having a broader appreciation of the competitive environment and the challenges that poses, I think businesses find particularly valuable. But of course, if you wanted to pursue more of an engineering background, then of course you would need to look towards more engineering focused disciplines and courses. So it really does depend on what you enjoy doing, because I think enjoying what you're doing is so important, but also as well having an eye to the future. And in terms of the opportunities these programs present, both of them are very highly regarded.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Lucy and Steve. I will do one last question sent by Todd, then I will hand over to Martin to say the final word before we finish. So there's a student, he said, in July, hopefully 21 or September, he's going to get a bachelor degree in aeronautical and sciences from an Italian university in Naples. So he's asking, does this degree allow me to qualify for both master's degree, whether it's air transport management, or aeronautical engineering? I did not see the degree, but I'll leave this to Danny, of course. And he said, in addition, as you can see from the date, I registered in 2019 and an airline captain with an EASA ATPL and EASA TRI training with 25 years of experience. I can pick up this question. It's about the IELTS. You can do the English test free of charge online, the Montfort Academic Test of English. So once you've applied and you have your ID number, we can take your email address and we can arrange this. Todd from Brookfield can support you with that. Can I leave the first part with you, Danny, about the aeronautical degree that he will achieve in Naples? Does this allow him to study the master's?
Yes, we actually have a number of applications from India, Pakistan, China, and some of them actually, like him, is a pilot, and the English is not there. So then we actually offer them something different, like what you say, Emma. And we actually okay as long as you provide just the content of what you study, because I need to find 3 modules that are very specific for the aeronautical for you not to get left behind of the knowledge that we actually providing, like the fluid mechanics, for example, thermodynamics, and that is very important for us to make sure you actually have that. Even on the electronic at the some of the university in India and Pakistan, they actually have a fluid mechanics, and that will actually guarantee you to get into the MSc of aeronautical.
Fantastic, fantastic, Danny. Thank
Okay,
you ever
can
so
I come in on the
Of
can I
course.
come in on the air transport side? Yeah, on the air transport management side, we take individuals with any background, and the more the merrier, because it does add a richness to the program. And so years we've had predominantly engineers, and we've had social scientists, we've had people from the English and history side. They've all got the same interest. They want to work in the profession. They want to enhance their career prospect and to learn about how air transport management operates. And so an engineering degree is fine. You know, you will pick things up as you go along. The economics and the marketing, etc., will be fine for you.
Fantastic, Steve. Again, thank you so much. Much appreciated. And I know that we have a lot of questions, but unfortunately we don't have enough time. So I'll ask you guys, if you don't mind, can you email Brookfield or Todd, and I'll be more than happy to pick up any more questions going forward. Martin, the floor is all yours.
Oh, thank you very much. And just, yeah, I just want to say thanks very much for any potentially interested students who've joined today, and obviously all the academic teams for giving that excellent overview. So I just want to say, I mean, hopefully, I think we'll have many students who will be interested in some of these programs, and I'd encourage you to, if you want to take this a step further, to please contact Brookfield, who are obviously number one, very knowledgeable on the industry, as we've already talked about, but obviously specifically on the DMU courses. And obviously from the university standpoint, we have ourselves in the international office, who are obviously highly knowledgeable in terms of things like supporting students with getting through the visa process, which although it may seem a little bit daunting, I can assure you it isn't, and we can really help you out with that. Yeah, but I just want to say, I mean, obviously, I think these 2 programs are very well placed in terms of the industry, and I think are clearly going to offer students excellent career opportunities. So I think that's they're very exciting for the university. So yeah, just want to say thanks very much once again. I think the universities, we're in a great location in the UK. It's a great city. We have we're a large established university with good career percentages. With a very large international community, both in the city and the university. And I think they really have a lot to offer students who might be interested in these programs. So thanks very much, everyone, for joining, and we hope to see you on campus in the very near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Martin, and David, Todd, Kwan, and Zaya. Thank you very much for arranging this. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully soon we'll get to do another session with the students. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely afternoon or evening or morning, depending on your time zone. Thank you.